Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review, and reviewing another Marvel film that I absolutely love and enjoy. And that is, the next one is, like I said, my review with Captain America Civil War. This film, Doctor Strange, and that film, they're my top four. I put this fourth and the other one third. Which I said that I love them both even though, so both of them could have put, switch places. One could have been fourth, one could have been third. But, because I just had to pick one, so both of them can go both ways, because I love both of them as even. And Doctor Strange, I just absolutely love this film. And it's just another, out of the ballpark with Marvel. They just knocked it out of the park once again. I enjoy the cast, and the best thing is it's visually stunning. As it's the best visual Marvel film that I've seen as of yet. Because the time that they're using for the Marvel films, you're using the world of magic, and it's just absolutely great looking, beautiful looking, visually to look at. The film's the best I've seen in a Marvel film as of yet. And then so the film is directed by Scott Derrickson, and which he wanted to do this film, and I think he did a really great job of making the film. I think he did a really great job. Now, before this, before Doctor Strange, films he directed before this, the first film that he directed was the fifth Hellraiser film, Inferno, which I'm not the biggest fan of the Hellraiser sequels. I mainly, I'll give it up to the fourth film. Then after when started Hellraiser Inferno, I'm not the biggest fan of the sequels, but Hellraiser Inferno, I just overall didn't care for. So, but I stopped caring after the fourth film. I think 4 was enough though, but they had to keep on going on with it. And then so that was 2000. Then 2005, he directed the Exorcism of Emily Rose, which I have to watch again. I think I remember think it being okay, all right. So I have to watch it again to give it a fair shake at it. And then to 2009, he directed the remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still with Keanu Reeves, and that sucked. And it's too bad because I love Keanu Reeves, and just that film was just another crappy remake. And then he directed Sinister, which that one I definitely hate. Did not like Sinister at all. But then in 2014. He directed Deliver Us from Evil, which I really do like. I like Deliver Us from Evil, and because I like the way the story is told, because Eric Bana, he's a cop and it's done from a cop's point of view. Because I like the premise of that. But I like Deliver Us from Evil. And then he got a chance to direct this film, and he did a bang up job with Doctor Strange. And the cast, I think, worked well. Extremely well, I would say. Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. 2 definite thumbs up for me. Which, at first, I was kind of sketchy because I didn't watch too many movies with Benedict Cumberbatch. I know that my dad, he's a fan of the Sherlock Holmes TV show, which is co-star of Martin Freeman, which he appeared previously in Civil War. But my dad is a fan of the show. He likes him in playing Sherlock Holmes. Although Star Trek not Star Trek Beyond, Star Trek Into Darkness, I thought he wasn't the good choice to play Kong. I just didn't buy him playing Kong. He didn't capture the performance of I forget what his name from the second Star Trek film, The Wrath of Khan. I forgot his name was. He didn't capture that performance as that guy did in the old one. But and also one of the casting choices, they wanted Joaquin Phoenix to star in this, to play Doctor Strange. but he didn't do it. But I think Benedict Cumberbatch, even though was not as good as Khan in Star Trek Into Darkness, I think he did a really wonderful job as Doctor Strange. Really wonderful job. I think he did an excellent job, I would say. And then for supporting cast, now I know his name is hard to pronounce. I probably said it before, but Chiwetel Ejiofor as Mordo. I thought he did a really good job. Rachel McAdams as Christine Palmer. I thought she did absolutely fine too, because I like Rachel McAdams. I think the film I watched her, I've seen her in the most in was in the thriller film with Wes Craven, Red Eye, with her Cillian Murphy. I liked her in that and Red Eye. And I thought she did absolutely fine here. She plays Christine Palmer. In the comics, Christine Palmer, she's one of the night nurses, which I know that in the Marvel Netflix shows that Rosario Dawson, she plays like another nurse in the Luke Cage, Daredevil, and Iron Fist shows. The same person. That character is also one of the night nurses as well. But Rachel McAdams, she also plays as one of the night nurses in the comics. Benedict Wong, who ironically plays a character named Wong. His last name's Wong. He plays a guy named Wong. I thought he was fine. I thought he was pretty funny too, especially some of the scenes with him. I thought he was pretty funny, and he did good too. Let's see here. Mads Mikkelsen, which I just reviewed. His one of his films, The Hunt. You can look that up. Look on my channel. I did that not that long ago. I think he did really great in The Hunt, and he was a guy I've grown to liking. That's why I'm curious to check out his other Danish films. Because I like The Hunt, and I think he did gave a really great performance. And performance-wise, I think he did really great as Caecilius. Even though, yeah, the villain isn't much though, but I'm willing to forget it because performance-wise, I think Mads Mikkelsen did a really great as Caecilius. To be honest, I think he's one of the better Marvel villains. To be honest, to me, I would put him next to. In my opinion, next to Ultron, because a lot of people crap on Ultron. But I think that Caecilius is a better villain than Malekith in Thor: The Dark World. I think he's better than what Guy Pearce's character in Iron Man 3. What are the villains in there? I think Caecilius is better than what Mickey Rourke's character in Iron Man 2. Other ones. Ronan, which, Ronan the Accuser in Guardians of the Galaxy, which I'll review next. I'm 50-50 on Ronan. I'd probably put Caecilius above Ronan the Accuser, to be honest. Because the Marvel films have this little trading thing that some villains are not quite as much. But performance-wise, though, I'm willing to forgive this because I think Mads Mikkelsen did really great as Caecilius. I think he was pretty good. Well, I would say more than pretty good. I thought he was very. I'm not putting saying great. It's in the middle there. But I guess Mads Mikkelsen, he's been really growing on me, and I think he did a really great performance. That's what I'm putting it. And then Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One. I know the whole thing started when she was casted with the whole whitewashing thing. I mean, I think, come on. Yeah, I know they change stuff to characters in comics all the time. I know because in the comics, Ancient One was a Tibetan guy teaching Doctor Strange. It was the same thing at the same time with this, and Scarlett Johansson was cast in the character Major in Ghost in the Shell. I mean, as long as they do give a good performance, I think the whole whitewashing thing is stupid. I mean, they change stuff to characters all the time. If they give good performances, all that can be forgiven, put aside, and all that. And I thought Tilda Swinton did really great as the Ancient One. I liked her when she played in another comic book, which was I love Constantine, Keanu Reeves. She was the character Gabriel, and she was also in Michael Clayton with George Clooney, which I also like as well. And I like Tilda Swinton as an actress. So I think she did really great as the Ancient One. The whole whitewashing I think it's just completely stupid things people are making it out to be. I just don't. I think it's just dumb. So yeah, the whole supporting cast I thought did a really bang up job, and the film was a critical and big box office success wise. Made $677 million worldwide on its budget of $165 million. I could definitely see the budget on the screen on this. It was very used well. And it has a 7.9 IMDb and has a 90% Rotten Tomatoes. And the film was even nominated for an Oscar for Best Visual Effects. Now, I will have to disagree on this part right here. This film didn't win for Best Visual Effects. It went for Best Visual Effects. The Oscar went to the effects that went in the Jungle Book, the 2016 one. I like the Jungle Book though, but the effects and the animals are pretty good though. But it's a no-brainer if you choose between animated talking animals and you see the effects in this film. I'm sure it's pretty clear which one wins the Oscar in the category of best effects. And you see the effects in this, with how the magic is being used, especially in the little fight in New York with McAdams is using to bend the city and make it everything, or in the dimensions and stuff like that. It's pretty hands down what film easily could have won the Oscar. I'm sorry, so I disagree on that. I don't think the Oscar should have went to the Jungle Book. I think this film should have won the Oscar. This is my opinion though, but I'm sorry. I'm saying this film holds all the cards in the visual effects department for the Oscar. But yeah, so that's one thing on the Oscar, because the Oscars was already screwed anyway. So, but yeah, especially the screw up at the ending of that last Oscar when Warren Beatty announced the wrong Best Picture. That's how screwed up the Oscars are. But yeah, I disagree on the Oscar choice for the winner. But yeah. But so in how the story goes, how it opens up, it's in the place of Cumberbatch, is where the stuff is being taught at, the magic stuff. You see Caecilius and his group. They type the librarian that has the books, and immediately the villain, he just cuts the guy's head off, just and puts it in the bucket. So immediately the film opens up and you have the villain already decapitates somebody. So he gets the book from the Book of Cagliostro, which is the study of time. Tears of these pages, which is a ritual to summon Dormammu. And the Ancient One chases them, which they go to the three sanctums. One is in London, which they go through, and he puts them in the mirror dimension. And Mads Mikkelsen goes, "Hypocrite!" And then once again, how the visually is when she's doing this and making. And it's also the way of using some way of Inception. With how the buildings are when she does this and tilts everyone's on the side of the building and does this and raises the buildings up more. It's how way of Inception must have something to do with this as well, because how the way the buildings are being bented, against bending at will and stuff like that. And she's fighting some of them, and Mads Mikkelsen uses his sling ring to make a portal for some to escape in him too, and the score by Michael Giacchino, pronounce his name. I thought I enjoy the score as well. It's just how the da 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 da. I like the score too. And then we're introduced to Stephen Strange. He's a neurosurgeon, which in the comics, which I forgot. Well, I've said this before though. Doctor Strange is I like Doctor Strange, but to me my dad is a huge fan of Doctor Strange. Him growing up, he just, especially in the comics, he just liked how the magic used and how the other dimensions worked. My dad is a huge fan of Doctor Strange, and he was glad when he saw this. It just like bringing the ways for the comics from him into the big screen. So that brought a big smile to my dad's face. I was glad I saw it with him. Yeah, because me and my dad saw this in the theater. And he also for a Christmas gift. Not only I have the, that's why I'm talking like this, so you can see the poster of Doctor Strange. But for Christmas, I also gave him a small poster of Doctor Strange to hang up on his wall too. So yeah, but that's how it shows that he's a huge fan of Doctor Strange, and like so just pointing out but he shows that Doctor Strange, he's doing a surgery while listening to music and challenging what guesses what song this is. And of course, in the comics, like he was originally like a selfish, ignorant, egotistical guy. So until he became Doctor Strange, then his life changed. So and then Christine Palmer, Rachel McAdams asked him to help perform surgery on this one guy because there's this other guy, a doctor named Nick, played by Michael Stuhlbarg. Even as the Christian says, he's a good doctor though, but he was making a wrong judgment on it. That there's a guy there, the patient has like a bullet in his head, but he's still alive, so they take it out of him. And the guy would have called the wrong time of death, which Benedict Cumberbatch says. So he performs the surgery, gets the bullet out, and Christine and Steven talking, and then of course there's when you see a wide shot of New York City, of course, like somewhere in the middle you can see the Avengers Tower. And Doctor Strange, he's driving his car on the way to something, and it shows like how the guy is, like I said, he's his ego and all that stuff like this, and like he's being shown files of different patients. It's like, oh, that's interesting, but $50 can do it. Find something that's worth my time, or oh, what, do you want me to screw up my perfect record? No. Oh, that's really interesting. Send me the files of that. And of course, he's not paying attention, and he gets get into a car accident. Now, I will admit that the only nitpick I have of the film is that the car crash is too over the top and too CG over the top. It's like going spinning and does a flip and all this and glands. I will admit that was a little bit too much for our particular car crash. But as the show implies, is that his hands, because I guess the dashboard kind of rolls over his hands. But I guess how the comics was, as it shows that he got in an accident, how his hands gets ruined. But that the car crash was a little bit too much, overdone, I would say. But that's the only nitpick I have. So he's in surgery. His hands is messed up, and he's trying a lot of procedures to make his hands heal better. But ultimately, this ends his career as well. And he treats Rachel McAdams like crap. Like when he was talking, it's like she's saying maybe there's other things that give your life meaning, and he's like, oh yeah, well, I like you. Now this is the part where you apologize. This is the part where you leave. So, and he gets his files for one patient who had like a severe injury, like kind of like his, but this guy is paralyzed, and somehow he managed to walk. The guy, a character named Jonathan Pangborn, and it's played by Benjamin Bratt. He has a small role when he's talking to him, and then up to the post-credit scene. So he's talking to Benjamin Bratt. He's telling him, how did you recover? You were untreatable. And Benjamin Bratt tells him, how he went to this place that he was able to heal himself. place called Cumberbatch. So he goes there. It's in Naples, and while he's finding the place, some thugs give him some trouble because he wants his watch, and that's the only thing he has. They beat the crap out of him, and Mordo comes in and beats them up, and he gets back his watch, but the glass has been cracked, and he takes him to Cumberbatch, and until he meets the Ancient One, Tilda Swinton. Tells him which he sure already knows stuff about him. To shows all the stuff like these pictures that he's already seen what doctors have, and she's saying, you're a man looking through the world through a keyhole. You spent your whole life trying to wind that keyhole. And he's like, you think too little of yourself. And he's like, oh yeah, you think you see right through me, right? Well, I see through you. And then takes his hand and then pushes his soul right out of his body, or in other terms, his astral body. But technically, it's his soul, basically. And he's like, what did you just do to me? What's in that tea? LSD. And she's like, it's just tea with a little honey. And she just tells him, open your eye. And you just get this whole this whole scene where it's just so visually wonderful to look at, and it's very colorful. I love the use of the colors, how it's make all these places going through. And I remember a while back they were gonna add some horror elements into it, which is one particular scene where he says one thing where there's all these bunch of hands, all these hands, and he's looking, even his hands is growing out hands, and hands are covering his face, which forms his face, and he's going through his eye. This is visually well looking at. Even also one scene where he enters this one partial place where all the blue kaleidoscope-looking things. It's actually he actually entered that brief moment. He entered the quantum realm, which Ant-Man went through in his movie, where he shrank himself to stop Yellow Jacket. Like he entered the quantum realm, the kaleidoscope, blue glass kaleidoscope-looking place. Yeah, Doctor Strange even went to that place where Ant-Man went to, which I thought was kind of funny. And just how the way the dimensions look, it's just really wonderful to look at. And you tell me this, like, one scene alone, this film does not win an Oscar for Best Effects? I'm just saying. But, and he's like, teach me. He goes, no. Kicks him out. But he wants to get back inside. But they let him back in. And begins his training. Which in the comics, he, like, spent, like, a few years there. But which is sometimes, like, I don't know, maybe a week or two. I don't know. This is the comics. He spent, like years there to be training, though. But here it's just a short matter of time. And he talks to Benedict Wong as Wong, and he's like, it's funny, he's like, just Wong, like Adele, Bono, Drake, Eminem. Yeah, I don't know, it's funny. So he goes to the library, and he sees the book, the Caglioso. And he says, what if this is overdue? So any late fees I should know. Some people thought it was funny, and Wong goes, did they work for you? So then it shows Mikkelsen doing the ritual, in which good makeup effects were around his eyes, all scaly looking, like, good makeup effect around there. And it shows it's the ritual to summon Dormammu, one of Doctor Strange's arch enemies, Dormammu. And it shows his eyes. And then Doctor Strange doing his more training. He was with the sling ring, and Tilda Swinton takes him to Mount Everest. That she leaves it behind so that he can do in his mind, because you have to use your mind to summon the portal. So she leaves him there so he can do it himself. And Mordo goes, oh, not again. and he's able to bring himself back. And then he does a clip cleanup, shave us. We get the kind of beard, like goatee beard, and then he goes to see Wong again. He wants a book on the astral projections, and he's like, "You're not ready for that." And he says, "Try me, Beyonce." Oh, come on, you've heard of her. She's a huge star. Do you ever laugh? Oh, come on, just give me the book. No. And here comes one of my favorite parts of the film when he speaks to Beyonce. Wong is sitting reading a book, and he's actually listening to Beyonce. What was it? Single Ladies, or you should have put a ring on it. It's like, if you like it, never should have put a ring on it. If you like it, never should have put a ring on it. He's actually listening to Beyonce, and while he's listening, that he's Doctor Strange. He's using the portal, the sling ring to make portals to grab him books from behind him. He's looking back, and he steals the book right in front of him. I thought that was a pretty funny scene. He's taking books using the portals, and while Wong is listening to Beyonce. So I thought that was funny, pretty funny. That was like one of my favorite scenes in the film. So, and then he wanted to listen to another that he gets the eye of Agamotto, which is the Time Stone, which is the Infinity Stone, which is basically the Time Stone, and like a good effect where he's using on this apple where it can he takes it goes like bites out of it, then it goes like being raw and back to fresh, and then he uses the book, the Cagliostro, to use the Time Stone to bring the pages back, and this is the pages of Dormammu, and explains that what Dormammu is, and it's just funny that how Wong explains Dormammu, like he lives where he dwells in the dark dimension, endless hunger, like endless hunger is like he hungers for Earth most of all, and as he's explaining that, I was like, that's kind of way like Galactus, like how Galactus because he needs to eat planets, because he's hungry and all that stuff to feed. And it's the way he explains about the way Dormammu is like the way he's explaining like Galactus is. But of course, Galactus is not part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's done by Fox for the Fantastic Four film, especially the Silver Surfer. And then the London Sanctum gets destroyed by Caecilius, and Doctor Strange gets launched into the New York Sanctum, and Caecilius attacking the guy who is like the Master, Timberlake, like the Master, and I like what Mikkelsen's like. How long have you been a comatage, Mr. Doctor? Mr. Doctor? It's strange. Maybe. Who might I judge? I don't know, for some reason, it's just something about Mads Mikkelsen's accent that I like, it's how the way he speaks. It's like, maybe. Who am I to judge? I don't know. I just don't know why. But and it's a good fight where he tries to conjure up shields, and like one just disappears from him. He's like doing this. And one use of the magic where Miles Mills he goes up the ceiling, and he's using the magic to where he's part of this. He makes this one part of the hallway where Benedict Cumberbatch batches, and he's using this to make him roll into this part of the hallway, and it makes the hallway fall this way. And he pushes one of the girls that's with Caecilius in this desert, and uses door, like kind of not a doorknob, but things to switch different sceneries to trap the person there, and then he's fighting with Mads Mikkelsen, and he has like this thing that's kind of this light in it. Is like, you don't know how to use that, do you? And then one of the things is like he gets kicked off. Well, he's about to fall off the staircase, and then he gets saved by the cloak of levitation. And just when he rises up with the cape and the music by Michael Giacchino, da 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 da, I was like, Doctor Strange is here, when he rises up with the cape, the cloak, I should say. And I find how like he sees that there's an axe he can use, and the cape. Why am I keep calling it? It's the cloak of levitation, the cloak. Keeps on pulling him back because is telling him to use this thing here, which he throws it on him. It's making him do like this, makes him like a contraption, makes him be stuck like this. And then he's like, it's like, oh, stop it. You can't stop this, Mr. Doctor. Okay, my name is Dr. Stephen Strange. You are a doctor. Yeah, he's like, and he's just starting the things about about times like all things age, and this is always with Mads Mikkelsen explaining. I just like I think he's really good with how the way he explains the stuff. It's just like it's like all things age, all things die. Whereas our sun burns out and the universe turns cold and perishes. And explain about talk about Dormammu, like he wants to bring the dark dimension to Earth and all that stuff, and Doctor Strange's like, oh, look at your face. Dormammu made you a murderer. How good is his kingdom is? He's like, wait, it's funny? No, not that. What's funny is that you lost your sling ring. And he gets stabbed by one of those things that these. It's kind of I don't know what kind of like a glass spear they do like this and just stab with. He gets stabbed in by one of the guys that's with Chiwetel, and actually it's played by Scott Adkins. Now I would say that the Scott Adkins that he doesn't say anything actually in the movie, but I mean it's like hey it's cool he's in this film. He does like a little bit of his martial arts though, but he doesn't do quite as much. I would like to see more with Scott Adkins, but hey, it's cool to see him in this. I thought he'd be he's a nice addition. He's not much of a bad guy, I would say, but although I like the fight between him and a little bit later. But he used the sphere to stab Doctor Strange. And just when he's about to stab him again, the cloak wraps around his face, and it's like, ah. So, but he gets the sling ring, and Doctor Strange used the portal to go to the hospital to get Christine to help him. And he projects his astral form to talk to Christine, tells her where to put the needle at, and then Scott Adkins he projects his astral form out. Go through the portal to find him where he is, and I thought it's a good fight war between both of them, which I like. It's a battle of fighting souls. They're fighting each other. I like how the way it is, because you don't actually in films you don't see a battle of fighting souls like that. To be honest, but I like it so. And they're fighting each other and. One part where they're tossing through each other, which is kind of funny that they can go through walls on the floor, but particular walls they don't go through, which is kind of weird because they go through the floor, they go through walls, but some other walls they don't go through, and they go through the wall where the guy Nick, the other doctor, he's getting stuff from the vending machine, and they go through the vending machine, which makes more chips fall down. He goes and takes some more. And Scott Adkins does like a high flying kick, and which stops Stephen's heart, and Christine gets the defibrillators to stop his heart back, but it jolts him back, so he tells him to up the voltage, and so he grabs Scott Adkins again and destroys his soul, and that ultimately kills him. So then he apologizes to Christine for treating her very horribly. He apologized for that, and he tells her everything what's going on. He's like, okay, don't believe me, until he shows her the portal in the closet. And as soon as he disappears, the mop broom falls down. That scares her. And also the thing is, he sees Scott Adkins' body, and I thought he goes and checks his pulse. At least because he's a doctor, so he can, has a little bit of that humane part, even though he's dead, but he still checks his pulse, though. And then, like, how the ending of the trailer, he takes the cloak and just... Um, then the mortal catches up and so with the Ancient One, and he tells the Ancient One because he knows, as Miles Mikkelsen told him how the Ancient One is able to live for so long because she draws power from the Dark Dimension, and he goes and tells her this, and Mordo doesn't want to believe it. And they try to stop Castellus again. He's about to destroy the Sanctum, but Doctor Strange uses his powers to go to the mirror dimension, so they can't affect the real world in the mirror dimension. And he's like, "Who's laughing now, asshole?" And he's like, "I am," and uses the magic to split, and which is the whole thing in New York, is how very visually great it is. How he's bending the buildings and just making multiple parts of the city, like in the trailer, how buildings are going in, which once again you see this the Avengers Tower. But it's just very visually good looking to watch, and you see Stanley, and you see Stanley's cameo where they both land on the bus, and he's like, "Ha, that is hilarious." It's always nice to see Stanley's cameos. They're always funny to watch. And just while they're fighting, all this, everything's just shifting and moving, and the Ancient One confronts them, and she has like the mark that has like the Dark Dimension mark on her. And it's like Mordo says, "Oh, she does draw power from the Dark Dimension," and she fights them, and ultimately she gets stabbed by Caecilius. Even Caecilius is willing to stab one of his own guys to go through him into the Ancient One. And it kicks her to the poorly made, and she falls all the way down to the ground. And he tries to save her, but he projects himself to follow her, and he says, everything leads to this moment, preventing countless futures, and and even talks about how when Jonathan Pangborn that he was able to heal her. She was able to heal him, which she did. And the guy channels energy into his own body, so he uses magic to walk, very often. And then she kind of like holds his hand, and ultimately she disappears and she dies. And Steven's talking with Christine, saying that, talk about how it was like what she said, and like, said losing my hands wasn't the end, how it was about the beginning and all that stuff. And he didn't want her to leave. Gives him a kiss. She leaves. And I thought another funny moment with the cloak is that he does like pops his collar, right, and because he was crying because she left. The cloak starts to wipe away the tears. He's going, "Stop." Even the cloak is even funny in the film. So then they go to Hong Kong because they're going to destroy that sanctum, which it already has. So he uses the time stone to go everything back in reverse. And once again, visually well done, really great to watch as they're all fighting while everything is going in reverse. Even one part from explosions going backwards. Even one person who was flown out of the car, went through the windshield of the car and being put back in the car as is in reverse. And then Miles Mikkelsen, he gets thrown and he gets stuck into woods, going, "No!" Now that particular scene, which I have to say, how he gets stuck in that wall, I think it's a much better scene of someone getting stuck in a wall like that than what in X-Men Apocalypse. I thought it was kind of silly how Apocalypse, how he puts this one guy through into it, makes him into it. He puts the guy into the wall. I was saying even Caecilius is much better than Apocalypse. Apocalypse is a well-known X-Men villain, and he was a born villain. That's one of the biggest letdowns in that film. Which I didn't like X-Men Apocalypse anyway, but that was a big letdown. Because Apocalypse he's a well-known X-Men villain, and he was just boring. Nothing to him. So I didn't even say Caecilius is much better than Apocalypse. And he puts up, maybe Apocalypse puts out one guy in a wall. How Caecilius ends up getting stuck in a wall is much better than that in Apocalypse. I'm sorry. At least to me. So, but he manages to stop. Everything is frozen in time. And Doctor Strange, he manages to get an idea. He goes to the Dark Dimension and confronts Dormammu. Not before he sets the Time Stone into a loop. And just visual, and Dormammu. Now, it's one thing my brother complains about, that he did not like how the way they designed Dormammu. Instead, usually he's a fiery head, skull with fire skull head, whatever. I thought I liked the design of Dormammu. I thought it was visually good, cool, especially how the Dark Dimension looks. It's mostly colorful, and Dormammu, which is actually I don't know who voiced Dormammu, but the facial motion capture was actually also done by Benedict Cumberbatch. So yes, but Doctor Strange is confronting another character that Benedict Cumberbatch also plays. Not the voice, but the facial motion capture for Dormammu. And he's like, Dormammu, I've come to bargain. And it just shows like he gets killed one at the other, but everything's getting repeat over and over. And Dormammu's like, what is this illusion? And he's like, you dare! And he's like, oh. And he's just getting killed over and over. And he's like, and Dormammu's like, stop, make this stop. And and it's like, you can't do this forever. And it's like, yeah, I can. I can do it again and again forever. And that makes you my prisoner. No! And make this stop. Set me free. And it also is, I like how, this is why I said how in the beginning, how he was just always thinking of himself, and now he's thinking of everybody, the whole world, because he's like, you're willing to die for eternity. He's like, yes, but everyone on Earth will live. It's just like he's speaking like he's an Avenger, basically. And he says, no, I've come to bargain. Take yourselves away from the Earth. He has like the way he's doing this with the eye, and end your assault on my world. Never come back. Do it, and I'll break the loop. Which he agrees to. So he takes Caecilius and the two girls that were with him, and it's like they kind of like disintegrate, with the glowing red eyes. I think they were trying to do that as a nod to these characters called the mindless ones. I think that's what they were trying to go for. How they disintegrate like that with red eyes. Not entirely sure on that part. So they get sent to the Dark Dimension, and Steven's like, hey, you should have stolen the whole book because the warnings come after the spells. And another fight with Wong, he finally makes a laugh, and he's like, that's funny. I like that. And Benedict Wong, I thought he was pretty funny too. And they succeed, but Mordo says that they just by breaking the laws and all that, and the laws of nature, and just the bill comes due always. I will no longer follow this path, so he walks away. In which, of course, you see him turning slowly becoming a villain, because he's also another archenemy of Doctor Strange as well as Dormammu. And which about you get at the end of the post credits. So then the film ends with as he puts back the Infinity Stone, which he reveals to, and him just back to the Sanctum where he resigns in. He has his watch with him, which it was in the beginning. He said like a little engraving on the bottom, which was a gift from Christine. I think he wears it maybe because it makes him think of Christine, or something to do with the watch, so that's why he keeps it. But and I just love how the music ends the film. What was it? Da 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 da. And I also like especially the music that's going through the end credits as well. And Michael Giacchino's score I do enjoy. And then the first scene is like after the cast credits is sometime after. This is basically a scene. It's going to be a scene in Thor Ragnarok where Thor talks with Doctor Strange about fighting his father Odin because he brought Loki with him, and it's funny where he says, tea. I don't drink tea, and he transforms to a keg of like a glass of beer. And he drinks it and is able to refill back up, and Stephen Strange is he says, so so he says, why'd you bring your brother? Why you bring him to New York, Loki? He says looking for his father. He's like, and if you find Odin, you'll return to Asgard properly. Great. Allow me to help you. Let's go. Like how the scene post credit scene in Ant-Man, which was a scene in Captain America: Civil War. This is going to be a scene in Ragnarok. So that's why, because there was a photo of Chris Hemsworth with a card, it's an address to find where the Sanctum is. So he's going to pay Doctor Strange a visit. So you'll see Benedict Cumberbatch in Ragnarok, which is that scene right there is. And then the post-credit scene is when Mordo pays Pangborn a visit, Benjamin Bratt, and he steals his ability to walk, takes the power right from out of him, and he sees him, he goes by being like this, paralyzed, and he's like, why are you doing this? And Mordo goes, I see long last what's wrong with the world. Too many sorcerers. Which that makes him, his turncoat into a villain. Turncoat. Him now becoming a villain. So, Doctor Strange, I absolutely love. Marvel just keeps on banging it out one after the other. That's why I'm looking forward to seeing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. This is going to be another major hit. And I enjoy the cast, I enjoy the score, and it's fast paced as well. It's only an hour and actually it's 115 minutes, so it's under 2 hours, it's fast paced as well. Like I said, visually beautiful, visually stunning, which that should have won the Oscar, said not the Jungle Book. But Benedict Cumberbatch, I think they did really great as Doctor Strange. I'm looking forward to seeing him in another. Well, I know he's gonna be in Ragnarok, but how he's gonna be in Infinity War, and also Benedict Wong is gonna be in Infinity War as well. Not sure about what on Mordo though. I don't think it's not gonna be in Infinity War. But just great cast, great effects, great pace, and a great score. And this is the Mads Mikkelsen as the villain Caecilius. I'll probably say he's a much better villain than Jesse Eisenberg in Batman v Superman, or much better than the Enchantress in Suicide Squad. DC films, even better. I'll probably say better than Zod in Man of Steel. Even though some Marvel villains are not that great though, but I'm willing to forgive that because I think Mads Mikkelsen did a really great job, because he's been growing on me, and I liked his performance in The Hunt. So that's why I want to see more films of his. And just look on that review of that film, The Hunt, and just Mads Mikkelsen. I thought he was pretty fun. I know the villain is not that much, but like I said, I'm willing to split that slide because I like Mads Mikkelsen. He's better than some of the Marvel Cinematic Universe villains. I'll put him next to Ultron. He's better than some of the other ones, like I mentioned. And I'll probably say he's better than the 3 villains that were in so far of the DC Extended Universe. Better than Zod or Luthor or the Enchantress, or even I'm saying better than Doomsday, because Doomsday was just a joke, a big freaking joke, I would say. Yeah, and even better than the Enchantress. If you want to do something with magic, better than the Enchantress. Not the DC Enchantress, not the Marvel, because they haven't decided to put the Enchantress in the Marvel universe yet. But the DC's Enchantress in Suicide Squad. So yeah, I'm probably over saying about the villain, because I like Mads Mikkelsen. I think he's grown on me as a pretty good actor. So I would say probably for 4 and out. probably say as for foreign actors, I enjoyed Mads Mikkelsen. Benedict Cumberbatch was great. Chiwetel Ejiofor as Mordo was good. Richard McAdams was good as well. Benedict Wong, I think, was pretty funny as Wong. Especially with the series, listen to Beyonce while Doctor Strange using the same books with the portals, the sling ring. Tilda Swinton, like I said, is the Ancient One. The whole whitewashing thing is dumb. I don't know what's the huge deal about it. If he gives a good performance, I'm willing to let that go. And I thought she did a really good as the Ancient One. Solid job. So yeah, the whole, and even Benjamin Bratt. I'll probably put Benjamin Bratt too, because even if it's small, because I like Benjamin Bratt. Scott Adkins, like I said, even though there was not much for Scott Adkins, especially for using his martial arts stuff, but I like the fight between him where they're the battling of the souls and all that stuff. So at least Scott Adkins did a little something, not much, but hey, it's nice to see him in the Marvel film, in the cinematic universe. I would say a nice addition, but he doesn't say a word though. But so yeah. I'm getting close to an hour here. I don't want to go this long, so yeah, that's my review on Doctor Strange. But hey, it's worth it because I love Doctor Strange, and it definitely deserves a certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Definitely deserves that. Visually great cast. Like I said, it's the visually best, visualized best I've seen in a Marvel film as a date. Like I said, it adds a little bit of Inception type of stuff. So yeah, just another huge bang up for job for Marvel. Another one that just hits out of the park. Like I said, this Marvel just keeps on going up while DC keeps on going down and down. But yeah, but it was like I said, at least my dad was very he really did enjoy this one, considering like I said, it's just one of his favorite comic book characters ever. So that brought a huge smile to my dad's face because he's a huge fan of this, and he's glad that he saw this, how the film got made and all that. And just really quick, just for on trivia, if I missed anything, like I said, with Joaquin Phoenix, this is Scott Derrickson. Like I said, he was a huge fan of Doctor Strange, so he spent his own money on a concept video he pitched to Marvel so that he could get the job to direct in the film. So I said he was a fan of Doctor Strange, so that's how he wanted to make it. And Sarah, other choice to play the Ancient One was Morgan Freeman, Ken Watanabe, and Bill Nye. I think Tilda Swinton. I kind of find it weird to see Morgan Freeman in a Marvel film. I would find that kind of weird. Yeah, the scene with Rachel McAdams being startled by in the broom closet when she got startled was actually for real. It fell by accident, and she got scared really bad, and so they decided to keep that. So yeah, when that broom handle falls, that's a genuine reaction that Rachel McAdams gives. So that's what they want to keep. I thought that was kind of funny. Mads Mikkelsen admitted that with all the computer-generated imagery, he got a bit lost in how to film his scenes, especially during the mirror dimension scenes. I didn't. Well, how the way his face expressions looked like he wasn't quite lost to him, but I'm sure he had in his mind it was. But I thought like Mads Mikkelsen was really great. Was good as Caecilius. And in the fight, Mordo has a relic which he showed earlier. It says it's the staff of the living tribunal, which and that's also in the comics. He's a cosmic entity in the comics. So even my brother, he kind of smiled at because he knows, oh, the living tribunal, the living tribunal. Yeah, it's like this is the staff of the living tribunal. But and like I said, Christine Palmer is one of the trio women known as the Night Nurses. Claire Temple is from the Marvel Netflix shows that Rosie Dawson plays. Who appears in Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. Yeah. So you get two night nurses, Christine Palmer in this film, and then you got Claire Temple in the Netflix shows. But Chiwetel Ejiofor, I thought he was awesome because I know in other films I liked him in. I liked him in 2012. He was also in 12 Years a Slave, which I still have not yet seen. But he was also in the Serenity, which was based on the show Firefly. Yeah. But I'll stop right there because I don't want to go because I'm going on an hour right now, so I want to keep on this thing going. So. But yeah, love the film. The only nitpick I have was the silly, over-the-top car crash. So, but that doesn't hurt the movie in the least bit. So I love Doctor Strange. That's all. I'm glad to have the poster there. Glad to have this. So I love this. Just as about as even as Captain America: Civil War. That's why I said in my top 10 list. Both can go either way in the position where they're at. So, but yeah. Gosh, this is going to be too long. So that's my review for Doctor Strange. I hope you enjoyed it. And stay tuned on for the last one I'm doing for the Marvel films for now is the review on the first Guardians of the Galaxy just before the second one comes out. So yeah, Doctor Strange, love it. Thanks for watching and stay tuned on the next movie review. Later.